Zayan Gavyn Hameed. I am 7 years old and I'm half Filipino, half Sri Lankan. I love reading in my spare time, and I especially love reading horrible science, horrible geography, horrible histories, and murderous maths. I also love drawing and making crafts, mostly about animals, and I am going to school in Gateway College, Kandy. Prehistoric animals were animals that lived more than 5,000 years ago, before people had learned to read and write. Some, such as the dinosaurs, were before people even existed on planet Earth. Some prehistoric animals you might know are the woolly mammoth, woolly rhinoceros, Smilodon, and Thylacosmolus. The Thylacosmolus was a leopard-like marsupial that lived in South America. It was one of the many creatures in America to be wiped out when the land bridge between North and South America was connected, and was wiped out especially by Smilodon and direwolf. They competed with each other for food, and the loser was Thylacosmolus. It had sheaths underneath its lower jaw to prevent itself from stabbing itself from its long canines. Smilodon, which we talked about earlier, was a prehistoric feline which also had extremely long teeth. Some people also believe it had sheathing, but there is no fossil evidence. It lived in North America and hunted prey like bison, elk, and mammoths. There were 3 different species of Smilodon. The first one was Smilodon fatalis, Smilodon populator, then Smilodon gracilis. Smilodon gracilis was the smallest, while Smilodon populator was the biggest. Actually, my ultimate ambition is to help the scientific community make great historical finds, and I also want to save the planet from bad things like hunting, deforestation, and also pollution. I also want to pursue these 6 ambitions. For example, paleontologist, archaeologist, conservationist, biologist, and chemist. And I want to be a biologist because I want to study life forms like plants, animals, how they function, how their brains work, and about their intelligence and other stuff like that. So that's why I want to be a biologist, and I want to save animals. So that's why I want to be a conservationist. I want to save the planet, as I told you before, and being a conservationist is one of the ways. And I want to be a chemist because, again, it will help the scientific community. And who doesn't love explosions? I believe it is my responsibility to save animals, so that is why I want to spread the word that deforestation, the killing of animals, and also pollution is bad for the entire environment and the human race along with it. Because not only does it harm the environment, because it also harms humans. And some people are hunting rhinos because they crush the horns mix it with tea, and they also believe it will heal them. So that's why they do this strange custom. And they use tiger body bits as medicine. That is definitely not good for the environment. And we know that some animals are facing the threat of extinction, and if they're extinct, it also harms the environment because, for example, sloths, there are tiny little insects that live on sloths. If sloths were extinct, well, not that they really are going to be, but actually they're endangered. So they died out. What would happen to these insects? It might not seem that bad to you because, well, they're just little bugs, and how would it harm us? Well, the death of some animals would also harm us. So I believe we should spread the word not to kill animals. Now let's move on to the other thing. The last thing, deforestation. Deforestation harms animals because the trees are their homes, and with those trees gone, the animals won't find a proper spot to live. Plus, it's also tragic that a species will die out. It can't be brought back to life, of course. So that's why it's really sad, although that might be changed in the future. Well, it's one of the reasons. I wanted to save animals, so I started my channel because as it got more views, there would be more people who would want to contribute to nature and save the planet from being, destroyed, deforested, polluted, and other stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons I started my channel. I even made a video on it which were the 10 endangered animals, well, the top 10 famous endangered animals. It included animals like the Asian elephant, the whooping crane, the blue whale, and other animals. Well, not really the Asian elephant, just the elephant, because both species are considered endangered. I also started my channel to help kids out with stuff like maths, science, and other stuff like that. I don't know why, but I don't post anything about history there. I also posted about animals. I did a video on gravity and a video about if Earth is flat or not. What do you think? Is Earth flat or not? But also, I started the channel for fun. It sounded nice to start a channel which I would post videos on every time. Not every day, but every time. Maybe once a week. So that's why I started the channel. To every one of you who's interested to know, my channel's name is Zayan's World, and I started it when I was 3 years old. I post videos there like animals, science, and I also post videos there about states of matter, solar system, the sun, which is also part of the solar system, and I also post fun videos there like jokes and other stuff related to that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for everyone who's watching. And thank you to the Little Stars newspaper for letting me be in their newspaper. More power to you, Little Stars. And if you want to help me in my journey to save the world, then go to my channel, like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Signing off, This is Z from Zayan's World.